Greetings everybody, Amar here, and I'm looking at the North Carolina 5 of 43. I just built this chart. It wasn't that hard because I already had a 5 of 43 set up for Pennsylvania, so I just transferred things over. Basically, all I did was I exported the data out of gold, then I exported the skips out of gold, did a little bit of delimiting and moving data around. And then this is the active sheet. This is where I pasted it in, and now it's linked to the big dish. I have it here as dish big, but big dish sounds better. Um, Brandy asked me, what are we looking for in the 2 years? And that's a good question. And so I've been mulling it over for a couple days. And so I built this chart so I could remember what I was looking for. Now, what you're looking for is when you printed it out, first of all, you got to start marking it. Now, when I printed out 2 years, I usually only printed it out in Excel because I had the custom charts and it was less paper. 2 years, I think if you do two sheets, I don't know, I'll have to do a print just to see and see how the printing is different in gold than in A plus. But what you really want to be looking for is the dormant periods. So I started looking at the number one. And so I looked at the number one, and so I started it here. So here is a streak. Okay, now I don't know how many dormant periods here was the 28. But after this streak here, and this streak had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. I'm still at odds whether to count the first hit, like is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits in the streak, or is it 1, 2, 3, 4 hits in the streak, but including the long skip on the dormant period. So it depends on how you want to interpret it. So basically, so then what you have here is you have here one dormant period, two dormant periods. This is going to be a technical correction. Then you have 3 dormant periods, and then you have 4 dormant periods. So you can see that after 4 dormant periods, the number came back again. Now, if you assume that the number is going to have as many hits as it did in the past, okay, so let's count the dormant period as not part of the streak. It's part of the long symmetry. So you have the long symmetry, the 12, the 13, the 10, and then you have 1, 2 hits so far in this streak. So you're going to look for 2 more, right? Is it 2 more here? Let me see. All right, not counting the long one, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you're looking for 2 more hits. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can see 3 is 1, 3, 6. You see it's increasing. You're still within the flag, so it's hard to see if it's going to come in, right? It's broken symmetry off of the 3, right? But it's still within the flag, so certainly it's possible. But what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to color in the this drawing sense hit chart. So I'm not going to do any dormant periods. I'll probably do the dormant periods later. I already showed how I've enumerated the dormant periods for the number 1. But I'm just going to show you how I copied the blue for the coloring. This is for the dormant period. So if I hit Control C, I copy it, and then wherever there's white, I color in the blue. So this kind of helps me to be able to see where the cold periods are and the dormant periods are. So because if you printed it out, you're going to have to, well, it's probably a good idea to start coloring in certain patterns. You can't color in everything, but you can certainly color. You can start with the last, let's say, last 6 months to get an idea. And instead of well, let me just color in all this blue just to get this out of the way. So let's see. So here, everywhere, so this, when I color in the blue, it makes a little bit more sense than it's all white. It's like the drawing sense hit chart. When you print it out, it's hard to decipher what you're seeing. So I like to color it to see, you know, the dormant periods. Now the dormant periods, you could color it in. You could use a pencil. right? It's probably the most cheapest way. You just kind of shade the pencil. Could use, you know, a Sharpie and just like maybe just use, let's say diagonals and just, you know, kind of do shading like that. Um, all right, so I've colored in, I believe, most of all the dormant periods here, and then oh no, here's some more. Okay, so what I used to do, right, when I printed out the drawing sense hit chart, I would write in the dormant periods. Okay, so let's see. Any more? Here's some more. Here's some more. So in this case, the whites now become like the streaks, right? Where the intermediate skip of 7, 8, or 9 would still be yellow. So let's see. I would color. Let's see this one here. I'll color this one in yellow with this, and then this would be a flag here, and then now you have 8, 9 symmetry, right? So that's certainly possible. But that's how, see, I start coloring the patterns. Now, one thing happens is if you start coloring too many patterns, sometimes it can become a little bit confusing. But one way to do it as far as the dormant periods, let me see, instead of, you could use the colors, the conventions too, all right? So I would say if you have a marker, you could circle these. So circle this in yellow, circle this in green, circle this in gray. Right? Now, let's say if you have 5, 7, 8 dormant periods, you could just put in, you could just write in with just the marker, with the Sharpie, you would put in like this. So where you have the gray, you would just write in a 4. So that would indicate the same thing, right? Because I've done this with colors, but I mean, I've done this with numbers. Now, one thing that I'm going to look at is I exported, um, right, I exported 4B in one of these charts. Was it this one? Maybe it was this one. No, it wasn't this one. Was it this one? No, it's not that one. I'm not sure. It's one of these. I could go through all of them, but it should be on one that doesn't have a name because I didn't, unless I inserted it into a wrong file. Could have done that. All right, so that's the first thing to do is to start looking at the dormant periods for each individual number. Now, when you look at the drawing sense hit chart, this is the way I would do it. Okay, I would scan the pattern of the number 1, then this number 2, then the number 3, then the number 4, then the number 5, number 6, counting the dormant periods and then counting how many hits per streak. Also looking at how the number comes in. Is it coming in reverse, meaning reverse flag, reverse intermediate, or are you having a hot skip, right? Are you having mostly hot skips after the dormant period? Are you getting yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I was thinking of something else, but got a little confused. But yeah, that's the main thing. So here you would be like, I would look at it like this. I would have been, well, let's see how many dormant periods is this before this streak. All right, so you had a streak here. All right, we're just gonna show 1. So this was 1, 1, and then I count. I go 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and this is then 1, 1, 1, 2, 1. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It's not a 1. It's a 2. So I'm sorry. Let me see. So this would be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 4, 1, 2, 3. So I'm trying to get a gauge of how many dormant periods and then how many hits come in through the streak. And again, I'm a little bit torn about whether or not to use the dormant period as a hit. You can see in this particular instance, I'll count 4 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So it depends. So that's it for now. I'm going to go on and I'm going to continue. I'm going to get rid of this 4 because I don't like it. Makes it look not so pretty. Looks more pretty just with the colors. And I'm going to color in the dormant periods for a good section of here so we know what numbers we want to look for to start with. Because, and like I said, generally 3 dormant periods is what is going to make a number hot. But in Texas right now, I'm been given a real major challenge is because I looked at all the dormant periods for all the numbers, and the maximum dormant period for every single number was 5 for all numbers. So I said, all right, this number is going to come in. It's 5 dormant periods, got to come in. So then it went to 6 dormant periods. And I said, all right, well 6 has got to come in because 6 has never been 6. And then it went 7, and now it's at 8. So that's where it gets tricky, and that's where you're really looking for regularity in the dormant periods and the number of hits that come in. So that's about it. I'll write back to you after I finish this, and I'll see if I can make sense of this and explain how I usually look at it. All right, everybody, good luck and happy number hunting.